jockeys.
I came to the last fence lying fourth. He hit the horse and very nearly came down, and I fell off him. I don't think I could have sat on him. But the very sad thing was the owner had backed the horse to get round for so much money. He backed the horse to finish in the first 6. And so he lost both his bets over the last fence. It's rather bad luck.
If it wins, okay, I'm happy. If it lost, that's one of the things. You win some, you lose some.
I remember a certain Lady Lawrence had a pair of barking chestnuts with 4 legs, 4 white legs, painted almost as if they were painted on. The harness was all patent leather, and of course my great thrill was to go to the head of the horses. I heard my father being well drummed by this Lady Lawrence. She was telling him off as well as ever she could, and finished up by saying, "You understand, Hill, that if I have any more trouble like that, I shall have another butcher." And my cocky little father, who was very servile normally, said, "Yes, I understand quite well, Lady Lawrence, but I don't remember sending for you."
We went out going hunting in this coach. I was sitting up with the driver, 4 years old, and the hounds came across in front of her, and the poor old coachman got very excited because he had one of the horses with an old hunter. Started to get very excited, and I can remember he started pulling away at the reins, saying, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." And that's all I can remember. I remember seeing the hounds crossing the road. I had a very good little pony, which when I was 9, and I used to ride in these gym cars and things, you know, gallop and put a potato in the bucket and that sort of thing. So that's why I got things from that sort of racing feeling. And that's why I loved the horses.
We found ourselves, another couple of lads, myself, in the same factory. Montague Burton's had a little factory in Leeds. You know, the famous tailors, there were shops all over the blooming country. I don't think they had a shop then. The factory probably had 50 or 60 work people there. And it was very homely, but it was we were more of an errand boys, you know, apprentice, learning the trade. And I got sick of it. I realised this is not the life for me. You see, locked in a factory. We decided to go to races one day, so we stayed away 2 days. So when we came back to work 2 days later, he said, the manager approached us, "Where have you been?" Oh, I said, "I've been ill. You know, I've been ill in bed." He said, "What were you doing at the races?" I said, "How do you know?" He said, "So-and-so told us," you see. And, of course, he said, "I'll tell you what to do, get your hats and coats, and you're finished." And I've never worked since. I got a job clerking for a bookmaker in the small enclosures. I think we got about 15 shillings or £1 a day. That was the figure, which was a big wage. So you worked 2 or 3 days, you'd done £3 or £4. You used to come home and give your mother a quid and you walked out and you were a millionaire, sort of thing.
I always had good horses with bad legs. Expensive horses. I couldn't afford expensive ones. I mean, my racing was really, I would say, on a clothesline, you know. I think I hold the record for probably buying the cheapest racehorse I eventually rode 2 winners on for £7.11 and 9pence. And he had a Derby winner for a father, but he only had 2 legs, 2 hind ones. I trained him on a bicycle. After I got him fairly sound, I used to ride a bicycle for 5 or 6 miles, and the horse, his legs weren't good enough at that time to take my weight. And that was the way I got him fairly fit.
I was going home from school with my books. At this time, I was 14. And I saw some sailors talking, and I heard them. And once they were going aboard the ship then, they said, we better hurry up. The Blue Peter is off. That's a kind of a flag to tell you that the ship is ready to go. And during the conversation, I pricked my ear listening. I was a little bit of a busybody when I was a kid. And listening. One of them said, we're not calling to Dakar or Conakry, are we? We're going straight to Liverpool from here. Oh, yeah, let's straight to Liverpool from here. I heard that. I said, Liverpool. So after the girl, I began to think. I got an idea. Blue Peter, huh? I wonder if I can get in that ship and stow away. The sailor saw me. What are you doing there, little boy? And he marched me up to the bridge. The captain got mad, like all captain would to stow away. But you didn't aboard my ship. I said, well, I'm going to England, sir.
Well, when the war started in 1480, we had cavalry there. And, of course, they were absolutely useless. We didn't know that. Didn't know there was going to be barbed wire. Or we're going to charge through, you know. Any horses they could get, they could commandeer them. So all the vets knew where all the horses were, and so they just came around. You had, say, 3 horses. So very sorry, got to take those 3 horses. And they all came down to the station, which I remember near I think there were about 100 horses, with weeping people. Naturally, the horses being loaded up to go off to the war. Well, they were commandeered, they were wanted in the war. They were never used in point of fact. But it was a very sad thing. Everybody's personal horses and private things they'd been hunting and riding, we just commandeered, but it had to be done. So I always remember it because I was only 14. I thought, why is everybody crying, you know?
And the second straw that taught me a song, a war song, which goes this way. We haven't seen the Kaiser for a hell of a time. We haven't seen the Kaiser for a while. He's gone to France to see what they are doing. His blooming Southland will be a bloody ruin. We haven't. Suddenly we heard a bang. The ship shut up. Then the whistle blow, all signal for all from the lifeboat to get to the lifeboat. Water started coming, and by the time he could open the door, water started flying. We got out. The ship was already leveled. The deck was level with the water. The lifeboat's gone. But we just slide in the water. It was the longest army. They rode up to me, held my hand, fished me out of the water and put me on deck, on the lifeboat. And then we stopped there and watched the ship disappear under the sea. I was to see a sight that I'll never forget, because I've heard about submarines, but I've never seen one. This submarine came up. This thing was at least 1/10, even smaller than that, 1/20th of our ship, and yet he had the power to sink our ship, and then he's sailing below the water with human beings. Well, this thing was too much for me. I looked in wonderment.
I got into Sandhurst because you had to do an examination of the thing to get in there. And I could pass and everything, but I could not speak any word of French. And there was another fellow doing the examination next door to me. I didn't know him, but I met him before. So I said, "Are you any good at French?" He said, "I can speak it like a native." So I said, "Well, I wouldn't mind you dropping your papers on the floor beside me." I said, "'Cause I might be able to get through myself." How there was a dear old lady that was supervising, because she saw it. I said, "Pick that paper up." So I didn't pass that. So then I had to go for an interview, 3 or 4 officers. Well, I happened, by the grace of God, to know one of them was very keen on fox hunting. So when they asked me what sort of sport do you like, I said, "Well, I like any sport." But I said, "There's only one sport worth a damn," I said, "and that's fox hunting." So I saw this chap. Yeah, I passed.
And the chief steward felt sorry for me, because, I know nobody. He said, "Come with me, with my boys. I got 3 little boys, which they're about your age." Took me to Wavertree. Wavertree is just near Liverpool. It's part of Liverpool, really. And I stayed there, but his wife seems uncomfortable or so. And after about a few weeks or so, he decided I must go. But he didn't just put me out like that. He held my hand and took me to Liverpool 8, where all the black people are. He said, "These are your people." He said, "They might tell you what you leave." And then he disappeared. We were standing in front of the African hostel where we saw these troops marching by, playing Colonel Bogey. Well, I never heard it before. It was the first time. Swinging. Ta-ram, ta-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra. And so I looked at them, and the sergeant major got his red band in there. I said, "Oh, that's good." That's very smart. I said, "I'm going anyway. I'm going to be in the bloody army anyway."
I remember walking down the town with a couple of my boyfriends who were about 16 years of age, 2 big fine lads, a lot taller than me. And as we walked down the main street, there was a lot of recruiting officers those days. And a sign out, "Kitchener needs you." You've seen that sign, And they've gone in, and they were 16. They said they were 18. Doing the army the following day.
Well, all over the wards, they used to see a picture of Lord Kitchener putting up, "Your king and country wards." I said, "Don't you see? Well, our king and country needs us. We must go kill some of these Germans. You see what I mean? That's what the king said." Told me fair. And we were ready to be shipped to France, you see, in Liverpool, waiting for embarkation on the ship. When suddenly, the 11th of November, papers all over the place. Armistice signed, no more war. Instead of being glad, Kate is a stupid, when you come to think of it. I was very frustrated. Now I want to go to France to get some medals. Now they come and tell me the war is over.
Well, I didn't fancy it. I thought it was I was a bit too young, I had a different outlook. I was more for racing.
And I remember the first horse I ever backed. I still remember the name, Celarius, belonging to Lord Derby. I put 2 and 6 pence each way on it, 5 shillings, which was big money, 1 week's rent. Yeah. And how it happened, I saw somebody there. Gambling was not allowed in England in those days. Yeah. Only in the racecourse they can gamble. Yeah. But they have bookmakers, street bookmakers, you see, with a scout looking around for police. And I saw everybody go around this little corner around this little side street. I said, what are they going there for? So the fellow I was with said, they're going to put a bet. I said, bet? What do you mean, bet? You must be crazy. Don't you back horses? Everybody back horses. I said, oh, horses. This is the Derby day. I put 2 and 6 pence each way. And the horse won, I can remember the price, 11-2. Oh, boy, I jumped for joy. It's just like a week's wages I've got. I said, oh, horse racing is good.
About 6 or so, we used to go racing whenever we could. And so we knew an old boy there looked, he should be rarely reading lessons in church. That's what he looked like. He was a nice old boy. And he used to give us some very good information about horses to backing him. So we saw him one day, this day at Windsor, so we said to him, got anything for us today? I think so, he said. But he said, I can't tell, it'll just before the race. I'll meet you. By the members, by the bookmakers. And he said, I'll tell you. So we got there, and he said, have you got a lot of money? So he said, well, we've collected about 70 or 18 quid. Well, he said, you put it all on this horse, because it will win.
There were 3 fellas at York races, very highfalutin voices, well educated. Like the old Mayfair playboys, smartly dressed. They come to York, you see, a big meeting. And they all had £10 each on a horse in that particular race. Gave them a ticket, you see. When one of the horses had won, one of them, so he came up to draw his money. He had £25 to 10, 2.5 to 1.
So we put the money on, 5 furlong race. After they'd gone 3 furlongs, this horse was 10, 20 lengths in front. Just going, it's marvellous. Went about another furlong. It stopped, practically to nothing. As it came past the winning post, it rolled over, dead as anything. That was strychnine.
I said, how much you want, sir? Oh, you should know, he says. I said, well, don't you know how much you want? I said, you've had the bet, you've had £10 on horse. He couldn't reckon up 25 to 10. So I couldn't be bothered, I was busy. So I said to the clerk, how much does this gentleman want? He says, £35, £25 like that. So as I give him the 35, I said to him, which school did you go to? I knew he couldn't reckon. So he said, Harrow. So as I give him the £35, he turns around, he says, which school did you go to? I said, Borstal.
I'd ridden point-to-points, you see, jumping and 1 or 2 modest steeple-chases, but I wanted to go rather up the social ladder, I suppose, and you couldn't ride as an amateur unless you were a member of one of those clubs. You could ride jumping as an amateur, but to ride on the flat you had to be a gentleman jockey. Well, I was duly proposed and seconded by Commander Tom Edgerton, another one at the top of the tree sort of thing, so there was no doubt that I would be all right. Until the form came, full name, date of birth, address, rank or profession. And to be honest, I got to put butcher boy. And of course, I got no hope at all of getting into one of these exclusive riding clubs. But I then had the brainwave that we turned the business into a small limited company, my wife and my daughter and myself, or 2 daughters and myself. And so I then became a company director. All villains and criminals are company directors, aren't they?
I rode a horse for Colonel Jeffrey Brooke was asked me to ride a horse with this called Coincide in the National. Everything was going all right till we got to the canal turn, and the horse in front sprang straight across. Took about 8 or 10 of us out. No way of getting out of it. I fell off him. I don't think I could have sat on him. So that was no good. So the fellow said, we'll run him tomorrow in the Fox Hunters, which is the same course as the National, same distance. The horse had had a hunter certificate. And I was in front of the canal turn second time round with a loose horse. I think I'd sure to have won it. I was only about a half or three-quarters of a mile from home. Had this loose horse kept coming up and trying to boring into me, and I kept trying to keep him off. As I took off, he hit McCoy's quarter, and I landed on top of the fence like that. Eventually, he came over, and I remounted him, and I was third.
I remember riding in a hurdle race at Lingfield with about 30-odd runners, and Fred Rees, the champion steeplechase jockey, won the National and all the rest of it. He was a Lewis lad. And I said, what are we going to do here, Fred? Because they're novice hurdlers, you know, didn't know whether they were going to jump where they weren't. And he shouted, we better get left. And I said, can't do that, can't get left, you know. No, just go off like hell then. So we did. We went at 60 miles an hour into the first hurdle, and we both fell. And we had 29 horses over the top of us. And that wasn't very funny. I finished up with one broken arm and a few cracked ribs.
I will say I've broken my neck, yeah. Racing. So that didn't kill me. It ought to have done, I suppose.
Matter of fact, the last bad fall I had was at Y. Well, I got a fractured skull on, what was I riding? Oh, the 7-pound horse, Grand Canal.
The fellow who does the X-ray, he'd done an X-ray on my shoulder about a couple of years before. So he said, got a bit worse than your collarbone now. And he went off the X-ray and he came back and he said, you're all right, he said. You can never get hung. I said, what do you mean? He said, you've broken the hangman's bone. You can't hang twice. I always remember saying that to him.
I used to have too many falls because I didn't have the best of rides. I mean, riding horses that cost £7. It wasn't rather being a bit ambitious, wasn't it?
See, racecourse is like a stage to me. And the bookmakers, like myself, we're all actors. You see, in fact, some are better actors than others.
Whenever the tote returns, I guarantee return. 10 to 1 bar one, I'll be 10 to 1 thunderhead.
Somebody to Thunderhead. 1,080 Thunderhead. 1,080 Thunderhead alive.
The major, 32 pound the deuce. Thank you, I'm in charge of good heel. Touch your leg. Hello, you, sir. Lovely bit of feed. The boy at
all we do, we get a crowd together, amuse them, entertain them.
Thank you, one and all. I charge you 2 shillings, gentlemen.
And tell them to stop, look and listen before the next race. Well, in that half an hour, I can do my spiel, and they'll sell my tips, which I always write down already with piece of paper, a lot of them.
Well, it doesn't look like a racecourse to start with. You've got all the hurdy-gurdies. You've got the phony bookmakers standing up. You've got Prince Monolulu. I got a horse. And I think the Cunning Devil used to give about 3 different sorts. Say there were 3 fancied horses in a race. There's always a part of the audience that have got to win, haven't they?
I've got a horse! I've got a horse to beat the favourite! I know an outsider with 4 legs, 1 leg at each corner. This horse will cross the winning post, and the others will be arrested for loitering. Today the Beaufort hunt...
He took a wonderful liking to me. And each time I'm broke, he said, hey, hold this half a crown, son. Hold this 5 shillings, son. He was a good man. And he taught me a lot of tricks, you see, about how to sell horoscopes. I used to do that myself, man. I used to do that, boy. I'll show you. But don't you dare stop tipping horses. That's my ground. I said, okay.
It's like every other business, really. It's all done so quickly, it's our game. All done in the last 10 minutes. There's so much money changed hands. And it's very, very honest. Every bet is done by word of mouth. You have a bet for £50, £100, or whatever the figure may be. It's your word against mine.
So I went to draw my money with all the rest of the people who backed us. And the bookmaker swore blind that I didn't give him my bet. He said, it must be another bookmaker. I said, what are you talking about? So he said, show me your ticket. I said, but you told me, never mind, you put it on to me. And I, like a fool, never... So some woman that was standing there said, yes, I was backing us with him here, right there with you. You told him. He didn't want to know. So I lost my temper and I was about to break off a stall when Big Maurice come and pulled me. He said, don't you, Ernest, we'll only be in trouble. We can't win. This is a white man's country. He's whispering in my ears.
It was before the war. People didn't know what a Jew was. They thought he had horns or something, you know. They said to me, you're not Jew. If you could speak English properly, you weren't a Jew with some people.
The right word for me is hypocritical. They'll be slapping you on the back and, hello, darky, you and I are just the same, you know. But deep down in the heart, they're calling you a nigger. You know, because I've been through it all.
I bought a new pair of Zeiss glasses. I think it cost me about £40, a fortune in those days. And anyway, I got out to take a coat off and put something on, put my glasses on the running board, and probably went the other side of the car and helped my wife out. Went back for my glasses, gone. I hadn't seen a horse through them even. So I said to Len Hammond, my trainer, what had happened. He said, well, don't worry. He said, I'll see Bill Sabini. And I introduced you to Bill Sabini in the bar after the next race. He said, well, I get him for you. When you think 1 million people there seem, you know, it costs you £5. But next race, Bill Sabini got my glasses, and I parted with a £5. So I've never left them on the running board again. But they were good villains, really.
They used to go to Brighton races, and every bookmaker, they had to pay tax to them. And if you don't, your store will be kicked up, breaking up to pieces. And the police can't do anything about it because it'll be gone, just like that. They were very, very tough.
Well, I think it was all exaggerated myself. You met some, what shall I say, these some naughty boys the old days, had little gangs. They used to fight amongst themselves. But they never interfered with us fellas.
Well, I worked for the souvenir, as a matter of fact. For Alvin's. Alvin's was one of the bosses in the souvenir gang. They had a club called a casino club. Everybody that goes there are crooks. They're all gangsters, you see. And they all actually belong to the souvenir gang. Well, Alvin's, who was representing the souvenir, gave me a job as a croupier. Because he knew I was not afraid of I can stand my ground. I'm a small man, but I can stand my ground any day, anytime. And to be a croupier in those places, in those days, you've got to be tough. Not necessarily you're big, but if they know you're tough, and your name already spread the name. And by this time, I've already been to jail 2 or 3 times for gun offense. But he warned me. He said, you'll get a job, but don't carry a gun, for heaven's sake. He said, because if any one of us, maybe you might go and kill somebody, the whole lot of us will be topped. And we don't want that. Hanging wasn't there, is it? You can carry a razor. All you darkies carry a razor, all this sort of thing like that. Alvin said to me. He said, but not a gun. But I didn't risk it. Always have a gun in my holster.
I had a nightclub on the quiet, you know that. And I was a bit of a lad those days. I was very ambitious. I don't know why. And a lot of these wealthy businessmen used to come in the club at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, have a wash, go in the little dining room, have some bacon and eggs and a pair of kippers or whatever they wanted. And they'd go home and tell the wives they'd been in the club all night, you see. Now, many times the wives used to ring up 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Is he in, isn't he in, you know, or he's just left and all that business. Now, this gentleman was an old gentleman with packets of money. He says, can I come to London with you, lad? It was with pleasure. Get on the train. So he came to London, took him round. Can you get us a bird? He's about 50, so he wasn't good looking either. So I said, oh, that's simple. And we got him a nice girl to stay with. And he had £2,000 in his pocket. So we used to call it grands, you see. A grand is 1,000. Anyway, went off with this girl. I stayed with her the night. He got up in the morning. She said, how do you feel? So he put his hand in his pocket. He said, I don't feel 2 grand. She'd pinched the 2 grand now. She's one of those naughty girls.
Carpet the field.
Carpet.
I'm the oldest seniority bookmaker on the race course. And that's why I have #1 pitch. They're waiting for me to die, really. Some of them, they're avaricious.
502. 5-2 referee. 3 on the wheel.
Sweet Noble.
Which one, sir?
Sweet Noble.
Sweet Noble, 4-5. Sweet Noble.
And then you get the younger generation. And we have a lot of fun. They approach you in a nice way. When you're going to die, Ralph? Why? Well, if you die, we can move up a bit, you see. We get a better pitch, you see. Now, if you said that to a businessman, he'd be annoyed with you. But on a race course, it's a tone of endearment. You just take it on the chin.
You're back first because you want to win some money, and you know you'll have a bit of excitement, especially if you're watching the race. But when it's got a chance of winning, that excitement, oh my God, it's a beautiful excitement. Although sometimes you wonder how you live later.
Look at that. How much?
4 pounds.
13 1/3 to 4 Nicotas, number 53.
Every day I say a prayer. It's an inborn character of me, because we all say prayers ever since I was a kid home. And I haven't lost that yet. And I couldn't lose that, not at my age now. On Christmas party time when my children are all here for the dinner, many times before, sometimes they forget. sit on the table and say, wait, we must say our prayers. They used to look at me with this cynical smile, as if to say, that is an old silly fool, but I don't take notice of that. There may not be any God, I don't know. But I'm going to be on the safe side. I'm not going to wait until I die, then I suddenly met a God and said, why didn't you listen to those preachers? That will be too late. I don't take chances like that, although I'm a gambler.
Go on, Briggs. Well done, Dan. Well done. Don't fall over.
Well, the starting prices for the second race.
Right,
First, number 1, travelling wrong, the 11-4 on favourite. Second, number 3.
You want to know how much money I make? You lose steadily. If you go in for jumping, you do it entirely for the love of the thing.
Down 40, there was no place betting. And the dual forecast, 1 and 3 pays £2.
He's had a nice blow again.
He jumps well, doesn't he?
Jumps over.
It's 150 quid out of his pocket.
That's right.
Oh, well. What do I got to have it? Instead of the cash?
Instead of the cash, yes.
I'll keep the cash. I don't think you can make any money out of flat racing either. But you get a lot of fun of it, that's the answer. But jumping, you've got no chance.
Hold up, then. Hold up. When I talk to him, he does just what I say, you see.
I judge by results. If I've had 118 winners and 117 I bought myself,
Hard enough, isn't it, now?
I must have had some sense.
The ground right. But I like them to have the head of the Duchess. The temperament of an angel. The courage of a lion. And last but not least, the backside of the cook. That's enough for you, I think. I spoil you. I spoil you, don't I? Hey?
When I think for a poor butcher boy, I hunted, I shot, I raced. I suppose people say we must have charged too much for the meat.
And of course, and the death rate was